Alright, my fellow Sander fans, we are going to be ranking every single one of the books in the Stormlight Archive series, including the 2 novellas. If Brandon Sanderson has emotionally damaged you and you'll never be the same way ever again, go ahead and subscribe, because like Sam. So I've developed my own ranking system in Google Sheets that we're going to be using to measure the book in multiple different categories. So the first measurement, and it's going to be worth 40% of the overall rating, is enjoyment. So this will be measured per book, and so I will be measuring how much did I actually enjoy this book as a whole. Not the series as a whole, the book as a whole. And that being 40%, because for me, the book's gotta be enjoyable for me to like it, you know? Like, I don't want to read something I'm not enjoying. The second part that we'll be ranking is the overall writing of the book. So this includes the setting of the book, the magic system, how stuff kind of comes together and makes sense, how the pacing is done in the book. All of this will be worth 20% of the overall rating per book. Next up, we have the characters. So this will be worth 15%, and this will be about the characters as a whole, their growth, their arcs. Do I like reading about them? Do they do things that make sense for their personality? How do they work within the story? Are they useful? Are they useless? All of that will be measured in that category. And then the plot of the book will be worth 15%. So this, again, it's not the series as a whole, it is per book. So is the plot good? Does it make sense? Am I confused? Is there stuff that doesn't make sense? Are there plot holes? That kind of stuff. That's what's going to be measured in that category. And then last but certainly not least, this is worth 10%, and that is predictability. So is the book predictable? Now, the reason that it's 10% is because I don't really mind if a book is predictable, but like it depends on the genre. But it's not like the worst thing ever if a book is predictable. However, we know with Sanderson that the only thing predictable about his books is that they are unpredictable. So yeah. So that's how we're going to be ranking all of the books. So let's jump onto the Google spreadsheet and start ranking all of the books, starting from The Way of Kins. All right, so we are going to be rating all of the Stormlight Archive books, including the novellas. So using my ranking system here, this one is going to be the hardest one that I've ever done because all the books are so good. So we're going to start with The Way of Kins. Enjoyment. I definitely enjoyed this book, but because it's the first one, I remember being really confused about what the heck was happening, where the story was going. It was a bit hard to get into. So with that in mind, I think I'm gonna give it an 8 because it was a very intimidating book, you know, because it's just like, it's such a big book. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. The writing. Brandon Sanderson's writing. I feel like for all of his books, I'm probably gonna have to give it the same type of rating because they're all beautifully written. Every single one of them is beautifully written. Like, the worlds feel like real worlds, and obviously, like, they're not, but they feel real. So I honestly don't think I could give him anything lower than a 10. For his characters, The Way of Kins. What I really liked, I think, the most about it, obviously Kaladin being like my favorite. I love that man. And so I think because he was the main focus in the book, I think I ended up liking it a lot because you get a focus on Kaladin, but you're also learning about the world, and you do get introduced to the other characters as well. But getting Kaladin's story as the first one, I feel like was just right. It just set the scene, set the pace of the book, and he's just so likable. I love him. I love him. I love his story, and I love how it just introduced us to the world and like how the magic system works and kind of the situations and really just how everything functions, like what it means to be a slave, what it means to be a soldier, how the politics kind of weave in with that. And I think Kaladin was the best choice for that, and certainly I imagine that's why Sanderson picked him to be the first. So yeah, really great characters. Oh, this is so hard. I can't give them all 10 out of 10. Can't. I'm gonna give it 9. This is the hardest one ever. Okay, plot. The plot of The Way of Kins. Now, looking at it as a whole, as somebody who's read the entire series, I love the plot of these books. I think that they're great. For me, I had no idea, though, what the plot of the first book was, to be honest. I was so confused. So confused. And I'm like a pretty big reader, especially in the fantasy world, so this being the first kind of big, gigantic, high fantasy, I didn't really know where it was going because I've never read a book that massive, and so it takes a long time to really understand where it's trying to go and what the idea is. So I'm trying to think of it in that way, because like the plot itself is really great. I love the plot of these books, but I think looking at it from back when I first started it and I had no idea what was going on and I couldn't explain the plot even after I finished it, I think I am going to have to put it a little bit lower just in terms of me being confused. Predictability? None of his books are predictable. The Way of Kins. Hmm. It's not predictable, but some of the other books I was even more shocked at. Whereas Way of Kins, it definitely had me, like, I was definitely surprised a lot. It's not predictable. A 3 out of 10? And keeping in mind, remember that the predictability, the lower the score means that it was like super not predictable. So like a 10 is like it was super predictable, and then like a 1 is like I didn't expect any of this to happen. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so that's The Way of Kins. I don't know how I feel about that, but these are the ratings that we're giving them for now, at least. Let's go to Words of Radiance, which is my favorite in the series. I love this book so much. This one was, I love this. This one I think I have to give a 9, because I think there were parts of it where I was like, no, just go back to the other characters kind of stuff, or like, oh, I want to know what keeps on happening. So it was super enjoyable, though. So enjoyable. I love that book so much. And the writing, honestly, I feel like we should just do this. There's truly, that's not changing. That's not changing. So yeah, we're just going ahead and making everything a 10 for that right in there. For the characters, I loved this book. This one followed Shalyn, and what I really loved about it is how you get to see her story and like all the backstory and her kind of like other versions of herself. I just thought it was really well done. And I think that Sanderson does the best job with mental health in his books, especially for Shalyn. Like, I love that. And the shock factor, oh, the shock factor is so good. And I don't think Venli was introduced in that book yet. Because I'm not a Venli fan. Like, whenever it's her chapters, I'm like, I do not care about you. But I don't remember. It's been so long since I read this one. But when I think about the characters and, like, how much they grow and just change, and you get so much about them, we're doing a big ol' 9 for those guys. And then the plot? This is where the stuff starts to come together. You get to go, oh, this is where the story's going. This is what's going to happen. You get the Knights Radiant. You get all this good stuff. So this one I definitely was like, yeah, the plot's going in like a direction I can understand. So, I give this one 8. Predictability? Oh. I had no idea what was going to happen. Absolutely no idea. I screamed. I remember almost throwing this book across the room. I remember dropping this book and being like, what just happened? Like, then, like, the next page, what just happened? Like, such a I love this one. This one I think is my favorite of the entire series, but we will see, like, what the end of the Radiance will be. No doing math. Stop doing math if you're trying to do math right now. Don't do it. We're going to be surprised at the end together. So, yeah, I really love this book. I honestly, like, the first one is really good. And, like, it really builds you up and introduces you to the world and the characters and just everything, like, how the magic works. And the second book, just, amazing. It's so good. I love that book so much. That one I would reread again, even though it's massive. And I'm not a rereader. That's the one I would reread. That's what I would do. It's so good. All right, we got the novella next, which is Edgedancer. And so this one is about Lift. And at the beginning, I was not looking forward to reading this book, to be honest. Because at the time, I found Lift so annoying. And I was like, I do not want to read about Lift. But, subscribers, you told me you need to read these. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. And I actually did enjoy it. The first part I didn't enjoy because it was literally the exact same as what was in, I guess it was in Words of Radiance. Those kind of like the preludes, like the interludes in between the main parts of the story. So I was like, what is going on? Like, I've already read this. And then eventually it introduced you to the rest of the story. So what happened after Lift basically saved that guy, who turns out to be really, really useful. The kid whose name I can never pronounce. But he was like the thief, and then she basically saved him, and then he was like the emperor. And so being able to kind of follow along her story and learn a little bit more about her and kind of the bargain that she made to never age was really interesting. I don't think this was like my favorite book, but it did make me like Lift by the time I was done with it. So in terms of enjoyment, at first I didn't enjoy it because I felt like I was just rereading what I already had read before, and that was kind of annoying to me, to be honest. But once I got to the rest of it, I did start to enjoy it. My gut says to give it a 5, and so that's what I'm gonna give it. I'm sorry, Lift. In terms of the characters, though, this is where it's interesting because, like I mentioned, I didn't really like Lift at the beginning. She was really annoying to me. But then by the time I finished the novella, I found her really endearing and cute and just a good time. And I think that's something, again, that something Sanderson does so well. It's like the character of Lift, the way that she's written is like a kid, like the awesomeness and the way that just like when you read it, you know you're reading Lift. And I don't know, I just thought that it was really good. And so I did grow to like her character, but because I didn't like her at first, I'm gonna give it a 6. But the plot of this one was good. I liked that we learned more about, what's his name? Nail? That guy. And kind of how he was going around and he was killing all the people who had like the powers, and then she's like kind of spins it on him and she's like, no, like, what you doing there, man? What's kind of going on with that? So I thought that was a really fun like story to follow along, and it was really short and it was really sweet, and it just added the additional context that I do think makes the books even better. Because if I didn't read this one and then Lift shows up again, like in Oathbringer, and I'm like, Lift, I don't like you, but I liked her by the end, and I was like, yes, it's Lift, and you get like all this other context and stuff. So I think the plot of this one was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. My gut says to give it a 7. That's what we're gonna give it. In terms of predictability, well, some of it I already knew was going to happen because I read it in the interludes. So, maybe, no, 3's too low. I'm going to give it a 6 because it was predictable, but not like 100% predictable, if that makes sense. Because it wasn't really meant to be like this big mind-blowing, like, epic journey. It's like a novella, and you get just additional context, so I feel like 6 is still too high, too low. I'll give it an 8, because it was predictable, to be honest, but, like, it was still good. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna give it. Oh, Oathbringer. I have chills. You probably can't even see because of the camera, but This one lives rent free in my head. This is one of my favorite ones. I think I gave it a 4.5. I don't remember why I didn't give it a 5, but I love this book. I love this one. This was Dalinar's story. And his was so tragic. Oh my goodness. And like when you learn about his wife, and you're like, oh, he forgot about his wife because he just was really sad that she died. And it's like, no. He forgot about his wife because he burned her alive and he couldn't handle the guilt of that. Tears and pain. I loved this book. I did. Oops, no, it's 0. No. 9. Don't worry. Right, and obviously we're keeping it as a 10, like for all of them. Characters? Oh, is this where Venli's introduced, though? And I think Vyre was in this one. I think I'm trying to... Sometimes it's hard to remember because it's been a while since I've read these books. But I'm pretty sure that those two characters had chapters in there. And I do not care about those characters at all. Like, at all. Vyre's chapters just made me so mad. I hate him so much. He's garbage. And Venli, I just do not care about. Like, she gets a good kind of, like, redemption arc in Rhythm of War, but, like, I don't know. I've never really been the biggest fan of her. But Dalinar's story and Adolin's growth, and then everything that's happening with Shalin and Kaladin, like, those characters are good, and they have such great growth arcs. But then the other characters I don't really care about. So let's give it an 8, just because of those other two characters I don't care about. The plot of this one I thought was so well done. I really love this one. This one, you know where it's going. You know that Dalinar, like, everything about Dalinar and, like, how it relates to his brother and the importance of the Way of Kins and, like, them finding... Oh, I don't even remember the name of the place anymore, but the big building that they're all in, and they're, like, training the Knights Radiant, and, like, all of that. You really know where it's going, what they're preparing for. And, like, it was so good. I loved it so much. It was so good. Predictability? Mm-mm. This one was not predictable to me, my friends. I was shook. Shook upon shook. So shook. Truly. I still am just like, it's been so long, and I'm still not over the fact that he burned his wife, and like, and then I can't remember the name. Oh, I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but like there was, like when he was seeing red, and like, and it was actually because it was it one of the Spren? It was like the bigger, somebody will correct me in the comments because I can't for the life of me remember the name, but that was what was happening in this book. Like whenever Dalinar would kind of get like full of like the rage and like he'd just keep killing and it's like because of these it was like this ancient Spren that pretty much like corrupted people within that area. And then there were other ones too, like there was the one inside of the tower, and then there is the one that Navani ends up kind of like bonding with later. Like I think that just expanded the world even more, and it was so surprising and just so good. Yeah, it was such a great time. I love that book. And it was just Dalinar just being hurt over and over and over for the entire book, and it was amazing. I love Dalinar. He's so good. I miss him. Dawnshard. This is the other novella. This one was interesting because it follows along characters that you really do not follow along often, only ever in the interludes. And so we got to learn more about Rhysand and Chiri. And then we also got to learn more about the Lopin. I love that guy. He's so funny. And he had such... We can talk more about this when we get to the character section, but I really love that we got to see some of that character growth and him get into, say, the next batch of oaths. I thought that was really fun. The enjoyment of this one... The whole story was about, like, the ghost ship and trying to investigate it. And then you had, like, those creatures that I thought were really cute that everybody's like, do you think those are cute? They're like a bunch of bugs. I think they're adorable. So I thought this one was such a fun read, especially because you get to see, like, the advancement of technology in this one that leads into Rhythm of War with what Rhysand and friends kind of find and how that helps Navani advance technology. So... in terms of enjoyment,
I do remember liking this one, but when I try to think back, I'm like, I don't think I loved it though. I think I liked it for sure. And like, I don't know why I didn't love it, but I want to give it a 6 because I remember enjoying it, but it wasn't like my favorite. It was cool to follow the characters, but I think I was more like, I just want to read the next like bigger book. And this one just felt like I was reading the interludes, and I don't know. That's how I felt about it. But the characters were really, really great in this one because you get to learn so much more about the Lopin, and he really just realizes like, oh, sometimes the things I say come off the wrong way, and like it hurts people, and I don't want to hurt people, and I want to make everybody happy. Like he has such a good emotional moment, and then Reason with Chiri Chiri, like we never really knew much about that character, and then we start to learn more about her and the importance of what the heck is happening on that island, and the introduction to these the cute guys whose names I can't remember, but the really cute ones, the Sleepless, there we go, the Sleepless. And it's like, oh, what are these, like who are these guys? This is super interesting. So I really enjoyed the characters in this one. I thought that it was just such a fun contrast of characters and giving us just a bit more information that is really beneficial for the next books. So I'm gonna give it a 7. And then in terms of plot, I actually really like the plot of this one. It had me in for a loop. I like how like clear it was, where it's like, okay, there's this ghost ship that shows up, people are dying, and then it's like when you get too close to this island, like the Sleepless are on there, and it's like, what the heck are the Sleepless? Like, I really, really like that. I think I'm gonna give this one an 8 because I thought it was really, really fun. I think this was my favorite of the novellas for sure, and it was a good time. The predictability, I don't remember it being that predictable. Like, the Sleepless was a huge surprise. I'm like, what are these guys? Like, what does this mean? But there were parts for sure that were predictable, but let's give it a neutral 5. And that's what we'll do. Rhythm of War. Now, the more I think about this one, the more kind of annoyed I get with Venli, to be honest. And all the Vire chapters in this one, granted, this is a very good book. I really like the story of this one, and I did enjoy it, but there were parts of it that I was just like, I don't enjoy this because of these characters that I do not like. Whereas the first couple of books in the series, I liked all the characters. Everybody was great. I love following them and their stories. But then when it came to the enjoyment, I was like, oh, I don't care about you, Venli. I don't care about you, Vire. Leave me alone. But then there are other characters. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. This is the best book I've ever read in my entire life. Yes! So, with that in mind, we are gonna give it a 7. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. Well, technically I am making the rules, but you know what I mean. It's just the way I feel. And this is my opinion on these books of the characters. I love most of the characters in this book. And granted, Venli had a really good character arc in this story, and so did Navani. We really got to focus on those two women and follow them as their story kind of progresses, and you're kind of like freaking out, like what is going on, like what are they discovering? And then like I really love the focus on Navani and the sibling. There we go. That's who I was trying to think of. The creature in the tower thing. The sibling. And so I really love the whole like Navani's trying to create this new technology and stuff based on what they'd found in Dawnshard. I love how that kind of comes over because like that's already happened, and now like it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like she's obviously working on it, and so you get to see how smart she is, and I really like her as a character. Being able to actually see her and how she works and her backstory, and just her and Dalinar are so cute together. It's so cute. I love it. And then, as much as I don't like Venli, I did like her story arc about how she was the reason that they found people. And she's the reason that, like, all of this has started, and, like, was responsible for her sister's death, like, finding how to change forms, like, all of that was so, so interesting, and that will definitely go into the plot when we get to that, Raiden, but I think I'm gonna have to give it a 7 for the characters, because they had great arcs. But some of them I was just so annoyed at, and I just wanted their chapter to be over. But for the plot, I love the plot of this one. I thought it was so fabulous. It was so well done. It was so well thought out. And just how all the pieces are like coming together. Ugh, nothing I love more. Nothing I love more than that. So I honestly want to give it a 9 because I think the plot of this one is fantastic. And the predictability is like, I couldn't predict a single thing in this book. As these books go, like, the only predictable part about these books is that I know they're gonna be unpredictable. So, yeah, that's where we're at with Rhythm of War. And last but certainly not least, we have Wind and Truth, which this one I read when it came out. I think it was the end of the year, December. That sounds right, because I think it was right before Christmas, like Christmas break. And this book, I love this book. I love this book. This book was so... It's the end of the arc. Ugh, I'm still devastated. So in terms of enjoyment, I enjoyed this one, but I don't think it was as enjoyable as some of the other ones. Mostly because I feel like Shallan and that kind of group with like Renarin and Raylan. I don't know. I saw someone kind of compare it to like the ragtag team of Scooby-Doo, who are just kind of doing stuff in the background, but it's like you don't really care too much about it. And the more I kind of reflect about the book, that is how I felt about it. Like, I liked the stories, and I like kind of like how they were observed and stuff, and I do like that we got to understand Raylan a little bit more, and that Renarin got some focus on him as well, because they're characters who were always just kind of in the background, now they're in the foreground. But I feel like, I don't know, there's something about their story I just didn't really enjoy as much. It felt a little bit forced at times as well. Like, I am all for Raylan and Renarin being together. I think that they're so cute and it makes a lot of sense. But it felt oddly forced in this book, where it's like there weren't really any hints of it in the previous books. Or maybe I'm oblivious and I missed it, but I usually notice those kinds of things. But it felt like it just kind of happened in this book. And I think I would have liked a bit more like hints and build up and that, because they are good. Like, I love that they're together because they make so much sense together. But I don't know, that part I was like, oh, like you could have done more with that. So yeah, I think for this one, I'm gonna give it a 7, because, like I said, good book, enjoyable in some ways, and not so enjoyable in others. And that really just comes to like some of the stories I wasn't too invested in. I really just cared about what was happening with Kaladin, what was happening with Adolin, and what was happening with Dalinar / Navani. Those were the stories I cared about. And so whenever it went back to the other stories, I'm like, ugh, stop it. But the characters, I love these characters. And the growth of, oh my goodness, and Dalinar. I'm honestly devastated. I'm so devastated. I knew it was going to happen too. But okay, Adolin really, really just like, he grew so much in this book, and I love the relationship that he has with the Kid Emperor, and just the way that like with the the people who aren't bound, and like that whole thing, I loved the growth of his character in that, and being able to focus on other characters as well is really great. Like I mentioned, the kind of those background characters, but because some of the interactions felt a bit more forced than I think I've ever seen Sanderson do. I do think I have to give it a 7 for that, despite some of the really, really great character arcs in this particular book. But there was something about this one that did feel a little bit more awkward, I guess. I don't know. There's something about it that was a bit awkward. A little bit awkward. But the plot. I love the plot in this one, because this is what we've been waiting for. We know that we're gonna get that big final fight with the champions, and it's like, okay, what is that gonna look like? Like, what's gonna happen? I knew that Dalinar was gonna die. I feel like everybody knew that. Even Dalinar. And like, yeah, but when you get all that backstory, like Dalinar and Navani being able to go through all of these different timelines and seeing like what happened so long ago that led up to this current moment in time, and like with Taravangia, being able to see his parts of the stories, I lost my mind. It was so good. And so I honestly, This is a 9 out of 10 in terms of the plot. I really liked it. And I think that it was just such a good build-up for what's to come in the next arc. Which, please, Sanderson, please release it before I'm 30, because I just need the next book. In terms of predictability, there were parts that were predictable. Like I said, I feel like everybody knew Dalinar was going to die. It's kind of a given. But that was pretty much the only thing that was predictable. Like, the younger... I'm so bad at the names, I'm sorry. I've read other books in between these, so... But the little kid, Gav, I think is... Yeah, Gav, becoming the champion, I did not expect that. After I read the book and, like, I talked with you guys in the comments and went onto some Reddit forums and stuff, a lot of people predicted it, and I'm like, you guys are so smart. I don't know how you do it, but, like, I couldn't predict that for the life of me. And then, like, Kaladin dying was rough. And then Szeth, Szeth's story, I loved Szeth's story. It was so good to follow, and devastated and sad and unpredictable, and just, he's the GOAT. I love that man. I love that the first person he met, he just married. Like, what a legend. What a legend he is. And there's just so much. There's so much. My heart. My heart. Yeah. There's a lot of unpredictable parts in Sanderson books. I'm gonna have to give it a 1 because I did predict one thing about it, and that was Dalinar dying. But everything else, I had no idea what was gonna happen. And then there was, like, plot twist on top of plot twist on top of plot twist on top of plot twist. Like, yeah. Good times. And then there seems to be some hints as well, of course, about, like Shallan stuck in Shadesmere. I'm, like, super confident that she's pregnant, because, like, why have a focus of her touching her belly like that and being separated from Adolin? Yeah, so I'm predicting this for the future. So when I do this for the next ranking of Stormlight Archive books, we're going to have it recorded that I'm saying I'm predicting this, which means if I'm right, then we have to at least give it a 1. And that's all the books. It feels like there was more. I don't know. It felt like there was, when I was putting these in here, I was like, it really feels like there were more books, but I think it's because these books are such a journey that it feels like you've just read a lot of books, but there aren't actually a lot of books. This is all there is, unless I'm missing anything. Let me know if I'm missing anything, but I went out to the official Sanderson site to make sure, because I thought I was losing my mind. But yeah, now let's do the awards.
All right, the results are in. Coming in at 7th place is Edgedancer by Brandon Sanderson, obviously, the novella. And honestly, yeah, that checks out, and it makes sense for, like, the way that we've measured it throughout. And I mean, the book is good, but it's not the best. Coming in at 6th place, we have Dawnshard. This also makes sense with the novellas being good, but they're not nearly as good as the main series, so I think that makes sense to me. I certainly enjoyed this one more than Edgedancer, but let me know, in terms of the novellas, did you enjoy Edgedancer more than Dawnshard? Let me know. Okay, and this is the part where you guys will probably not agree with me, but here we go. Coming in at 5th place, we have Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. It breaks my heart to put it in number 5. But when I looked at all of the books, as we did in Google Sheets, there was just ones that I liked more. And obviously this is not me saying this book sucked. I love this book. The book is so good, it made me want to cry. But I think where it kind of, like, went below is just because of the characters that I don't like. And that's pretty much the only reason. I just do not care about certain characters, and I don't like reading about them, so that kind of, like, lowers a book in my opinion. But this is still a 5-star read. Like, it's good. It's still a good book, but it is number 5. Coming in at 4th place, we have Rhythm of War. This book, like all of Sanderson's, is a very good book. And being number 4, honestly, I'm fine with that. And I mean, this is my rating, so this is my rating for the book. And when I put the numbers together, I think it makes sense, and I think that this book has a lot of really strong parts in it for sure, but I'm just not a Venli fan. I love that she gets character growth and stuff, but I just don't care about her, and I wish we focused more on just Navani because her story was super fascinating, and I love the kind of like moral conflicts in this book. Coming in number 3, we have The Way of Kins, the first book in the series, which is such a good first book. That first page, hook, line, and sinker, it really gets you. And I love it. And this is the book that this is the one that started it all. This is the one that gets you into it. And I still laugh thinking about how I thought this was such a big book at the time, but it feels tiny in my hands now compared to the rest of them. But yeah, this is such a great book. I love this book. Coming in spot number 2, we have Oathbringer. So yeah, honestly, I'm not really surprised with this one being number 2. I loved it. I think when I read it, I was like, oh, this is just Dalinar suffering for like 1,000 pages. And as evil as it sounds, I love when characters are suffering. I love when they're in pain. That sounds so bad. But this one was just, this one was so good. The plot twists in this one, the way it grips you, all of the characters. I wasn't super annoyed, I don't think, at Venli and Vyre yet. And so I think really just, I was excited about every single thing that was happening in this book. I love getting Dalinar's backstory, and I just love the way that everything just was paced and was done. And this is just such a great book. And coming in first place is Words of Radiance. I feel like we already knew, based on like my reviews in the past, that this was my favorite and still continues to be my favorite in the Stormlight Archive. It just is everything. It is everything that a high fantasy book needs to be. And it does such a brilliant job. And I think the way that it does such a brilliant job is because of just how amazing The Way of Kins is. I will say though, like, something that kind of annoys me about the covers, like they're great covers, but like, shouldn't Kaladin have been on his book and Shallan should have been on her book? I don't know, it confuses me. But yeah, I think this one is totally deserving of the first place spot. It is a masterpiece. It's my favorite high fantasy book of all time. And I do think that it's the strongest and the best in the entire Stormlight Archive series. But let me know, do you disagree with me? I'm sure somebody's got it, because like, that wouldn't be fun if we all agreed on the same thing. But let me know, what is your order? Who is number 1 for you in the entire Stormlight Archive series? Which I know it's so hard. It is so hard to pick a number 1. Like, it's almost impossible. Because like the series as a whole, when you look at the series as a whole, as a collective, it's perfect. Some of the books, maybe they're a little bit slower. Some of the books, maybe you learn some stuff that you don't learn in the other ones, but like the way that it tells the story and that first arc is so good. And so like 5-star series all the way. Even the books that I don't like as much, which just happen to like be Rhythm of War and Wind and Truth, are still so integral to the entire series that I wouldn't never want them to not be part of the series. And I'm so excited for whenever the next book comes out, because there's a piece of my soul in these books. And I love these books so much. And I know I have to read The Sunlit Man still. And I still have the new Mistborn that I need to read as well. So I think I'm gonna have to start reading those pretty soon, because I just really miss the Cosmere. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what is your order for the books? And kind of think of it in the same way that like I measured them per book. I am so curious what you would rate. I'm super curious about what your number 1 is as well. So let's chat about it. And so with that, I'm going to wish you warm wishes and fish kisses, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!